It can be very empowering to discover what can be called a power animal or a spirit guide. Generically speaking, we can say these are totems. And it's useful for me to just go through the theory of this before later in the video taking you through a guided journey in order for you to find out your own power animals. Let me call them totems so that you can include spirit guides. What we'll do later is to go through a process of allocating totems to 7 chakra points, and we can also align these with the elven star points. This deepens our relationship with those things, the chakras and the elven star, because we've got access to discover the qualities that we decide to associate with those points. And the process of discovering your own totem is relatively straightforward, but it's a lot easier with 2 people. So what I'm going to do is to sort of give instructions to how you might guide someone to find out their own totems. And it could be a reciprocal thing. They could do the same for you. But I'm hoping that the video itself will be enough for you to awaken your own relationship with these guides. Now, when you're taking somebody through this process, what is of key importance is atmosphere. So now I'm going to speak differently. I'm going to slow down my speech. I'm going to reduce the length of my sentences. And this will align with my breathing rhythm to some extent. And if you can do this, you set up that same rhythm in your client, and you move into a different state of being when somebody's talking to you like this, making it a little bit quieter so they have to concentrate to hear you. So that kind of technique of using your voice differently, different tone, different speed of presentation, using the rhythm of your own breath to create within your client a rhythm within their breath. These kind of techniques, and you can find your own, they're important. And a part of what we do is create the atmosphere using incense and candles and perhaps sacred objects, so that we create sacredness and we disengage from ordinary reality to move into the magical realms to do this. Let's be very clear what we're doing. We're moving our attention from the earth plane to the astral plane. There are guides that can help us on the higher planes, but most of what we're doing, the totems, the power animals, they're astral plane realities. Now that's not unreal or silly or fantastical in any derogatory sense anyway, but it is a product of our imagination. It doesn't make it unreal, it just means that its reality is in the imaginal plane, which has its impact upon us. Most assuredly, we are influenced by moods and atmospheres, there's no question, and that's the realm of the astral. So we're moving from the earth plane reality into this other realm of the astral. And we can do that using the techniques that we've learned to do with creating sacredness by lighting candles and changing the atmosphere and relationship with a person by your tone of voice, as I've said. So first things first then, create the atmosphere. Secondly, create the expectation within the client of this working, this being a success. And if you have a cynical client, forget about it. It's not your job to persuade somebody to become absent of cynicism. They come to you expecting a result, or at least neutral, and you create within them the expectation of success. That's very important. And to some extent, you have to insist upon this. The the capacity for not getting it right exists, so you have to just push a little bit to make sure that even if you don't get it right the first time, you're going to get it right a second time, and you're going to do it repeatedly until you get it. So in your mind, there's this certainty that this is going to work. And at the end of this exercise, the client will have their power animals. You have to give that level of certainty. That's a gift that you're offering. That comes from your faith. And if they say, no, I can't see anything, well, look again. I can't see anything. Well, then what does it feel like? Oh, I can feel something. Move your attention towards that feeling. Just use cleverness with your words to insist that they meet their totem. That's a trick. A magical trick. Now, what you do is you take a journey. We create this imaginal journey. You put somebody in a very relaxed condition. You say, imagine somewhere where you are relaxed and go down. There's a doorway going down, and to get them into the image of going down into their unconsciousness. That's where we imagine it to be, down within our body. And we go down and we see this chamber, and it's a little bit dark and a little bit mysterious, and there's 7 doors, and you go in the door and you meet the first chakra, or the first point of the elven star, represented by the totem. And you have a conversation with the totem, and you learn things. We'll go through all of this later. But this process is a clever way to get the mind of the client thinking differently, being open to what was not available before. This is what we're trying to do, to access an aspect of the client's mind that exists, is there. We're not creating anything new. We're simply getting the client to access what is already there. And so we have to reduce our dogma, our sense of definitive expectation. We're expecting it to work, but it could work in all manner of ways. You could say, find your power animal, and that would be definitive. It might be a spirit guide. It might be something else. It might be a colour, a musical note. It might be a taste. Each person has got their own way of accessing their own qualities, and this is what we're doing. We're trying to access qualities. This is the whole purpose of the whole exercise. Certain animals, for example, power animals are good because animals are known to us as having certain qualities. If you say, my power animal is a tiger, you feel like a tiger. And you probably feel courageous and strong and fierce. And if your power animal is a dolphin, then you feel intelligent and playful and free. And if your power animal is a mouse, then you're very good with details, and you scurry away from danger, and you protect yourself by alertness. A fox is cunning and works out strategies and can find an adaptable way of coping. So power animals are good. But spirit guides are too. Certain angels, for example, or gods, demigods, and so on in various traditions around the world. Ganesha means this, and Shiva means that, and so on. And we've got associations already stored within us, which is why these totems take on a special importance, because we can access the communal mythology of our species, which has created this relationship between certain totems and certain qualities. Now, we adjust that to fit our own needs and our own interpretations and so on. For some people, red means sexuality and power. For some, it means danger. Blue might be wisdom for some, whereas another might find purple to be wisdom. It doesn't matter. That's the whole thing. We must not, as leaders, as guides, impose our mythology onto another person. Our job is to awaken within that client their own relationship with their own mythology. When we create in our imagination a totem, we give that totem qualities, as I've just described, that we admire, typically. We won't describe our para animal in any negative way. That would be very unusual indeed. And if that starts to happen, then you need to correct your client. Tell them to look for the positive qualities. And when we've created a batch of qualities appropriate to this totem, then we have to learn to admire them. The process of admiration is very powerful. We typically in life choose somebody to admire, and we offer them our admiration, and they like that. They respond by receiving our admiration. We're in relationship with somebody on the vibration of admiration. And the secret is that we can only really admire those qualities within ourselves which have not yet been fully realized. That's a very important wisdom. When we admire someone or something, it's because that represents a quality in potential form that we have, not yet realized, but available to us. And this is the secret of power animals and totems. We create our highest level of admiration, and then we claim the power associated with those totems for ourselves. That's how it works, and we become more through this process. So let me guide you through the process now. Relax in a sitting position, or maybe even lying down. And breathe with awareness. Breathe slowly and deeply. Forget about your physical body. We're moving into the realms of imagination now. And find yourself in a place which is very safe and relaxing and beautiful. You see, almost hidden, the door. And on opening the door, you notice a spiral staircase taking you down, down, into a chamber lighted only with candles. Very lovely feeling here though. It's dark, but it's warm, safe. And you notice 7 doors. Something mystical about them, and you know that behind them your own power animals, guides, totems are waiting for you. So you go to the first door and enter. And you see your first totem. And you look very carefully and you notice all there is to notice. And you notice how you're feeling as well. There's something in the totem, something that you admire. Just become aware of what qualities, those qualities that make you feel something special, are present within the totem. Converse, communicate, tune into each other. Become aware of how that totem may serve you, and indeed what changes you may need to make in your own way of being in order for that service to be optimized. And then take your leave with gratitude and return to the candlelit chamber. Pausing for a moment just to collect your thoughts. And then moving into the second room, meeting your second guide. Whose qualities you notice, those qualities you admire about this particular totem. And what is required of you in order to claim them? What do you need to do differently? How do you need to be in order to develop these qualities which you admire? Now, being ready to take your leave, you offer thanks and move into the chamber again, becoming aware of what you're learning as you progress. Don't lose the lessons that you're gaining. Just recapitulate in your thoughts and enter door 3 and engage with this being, this guide, who is there for you, has come for you to offer the qualities that you can see, which you admire, and which you can resonate with. Some inner sense of yourself is beginning to resonate with these qualities. And become aware of how you need to change to claim them more fully, more completely. And exactly what this guide can do, what service is offered. And with thanks, you take your leave, returning to the chamber and collecting your thoughts again. Now into the 4th chamber. Feeling the atmosphere of this totem. What qualities are present? What powers? And how do you have to be different within yourself, who you are and how you are, in order to find those qualities within yourself? Now you shake your leave with thanks, return to the chamber. Move towards the 5th door and enter the 5th chamber. And you meet yet another guide with altogether different qualities, but also willing to serve and offer power to you. How do you need to be different in order to claim those powers and those qualities? What's the wisdom here? This journey is a journey of unfolding wisdom. Now, leaving that room, we return to the chamber. Now enter the 6th door, and in that chamber there is a 6th totem, guide, power animal, someone to meet, something that's there for you to offer power. What qualities do you find here? What wisdom? What's the guidance here? What do you need to learn? Moving away, back into the chamber. You're aware that the 7th door represents a very high mystery. As you enter, you notice an atmosphere of very high spiritual attainment, light. And your guide has very high qualities, extraordinary qualities, high degree of realization. So tune into that within yourself so that you can resonate with the wisdom offered. Know yourself at the very highest level. Tune into the ultimate sense of self at the soul level. And know what these qualities are which you will claim and realize when in that consciousness. Enjoy this. Surrender to this feeling. And remove yourself from the room with thanks. Return to the chamber. Just collect your thoughts for a moment. Retrace your steps. The 7th. The 6th. The 5th. As you walk past the doors, you remember. The 4th. The 3rd. The 2nd. And the 1st. Remember them all. Bring them to mind now. What they were. What are their qualities? Remember all of this. And know that this is real. Whenever you enter this realm, these beings are here, waiting for you. Yet now it's time to return, so we begin our spiraling journey up the stairway into the light of day. As we open the door and return to this beautiful place where we started the journey. And you're starting to become aware of yourself in this earthy realm, where you are, how you're feeling, what your body's doing, and whenever you're ready, you can open your eyes.